We're going to start, Randy's going to speak first, but while he's doing that, we're going to offer you a few small appetizers because it's getting to be that lunch hour time. And then we'll probably try and time a proper lunch between 1 and 1:15. Okay? Cool. So if you want to grab a seat, no assigned seating, wherever you want.
So the last 6 months, full time, I have been dealing with nothing but government. I've had several meetings with Kim with Save-On. We've had meetings with Sobeys, meetings with the Deputy Minister, the General Manager of the LCB on an ongoing basis. Because what is happening is going to fundamentally change our industry. And it's going to change the way we sell liquor. Everyone's familiar with the wine and food stores program. What you may not know is that there's two different types of licenses. There's the existing VQA licenses, and there's 21 of them, and Save-On has pretty much obtained all of them. Then there's Bill 22 licenses, and there's 18 of those. The VQA licenses are only allowed to sell right now VQA wine. However, that's been changed by the government, where they're allowed to sell all wines, 100% BC wines, because the Bill 22 licenses, these new ones, are allowed to sell VQA and any other kind of wine. So right now, if you look at a VQA store, a lot of the product is at a premium price. There's a lot of wines that are $20 and over in a VQA store. When grocers, and I say this from experience, and you guys know what my background is, groceries with my business partner. When grocers get their hands on this, and they start to work it in a way they work every other department, they are going to start driving down the price of liquor. We're going to start seeing private labeling by the big three. We're going to start seeing discounts, right, being done like any other food store operates. Now that's important because right now in a Save-On store, you can go to Save-On and if you buy this wine, you get $12 off your meat, right? If you buy this wine, you get $8 off your cheese. Those are things that are illegal for us to do. We're not allowed to do that because of the Liquor Act. Now the funny thing is that they can't stop Save-On or Loblaws or Sobeys from doing this because the Liquor Act didn't think about cross-merchandising. It didn't come into their heads that someone could do this because all of us in government liquor stores aren't allowed to sell food. So if we take it further to what food stores are going to do is, why is Mrs. Smith going to buy a bottle of Gewürztraminer from us at Christmas time when she can get one for free when she buys her turkey? That's really what it's going to come down to. We are going to see the change in the industry is going to be amazing in the sense that all we've got to do is look at Washington State, Oregon, California, any jurisdiction where when food stores got control of wine, right, they dominate 70% of all wine sales. Plain and simple. But there's no other jurisdiction that shows otherwise. So we've been working very hard, constantly, to stop the food stores. I've been going, and Kim has been incredible, going to council meetings in various parts of the province to get opposition for councils to create a 1K rule for food stores. And for those of you who don't know, and sometimes I'm sorry, I take it for granted because I'm in the industry so often, we'll talk about it so much, is that a private liquor store and a government liquor store have to be 1 kilometer away from each other provincially. Those are provincial guidelines. The government, with VQA licenses and Bill 22 licenses, made them exempted. So a food store can go directly on the same site, and there's one in Penticton where it's happening, where they're literally 30 feet away from the liquor store.
Grocery is coming. What we've been fighting for is simply a transition period to basically give everybody enough time to adapt. And the early adapters and those who take it the furthest, I think not only will survive, but they will thrive in a new environment. Those that don't, I think, it may or may not impact you, but I definitely don't see anything good enough for you. So, with going into grocery, because they're going to push you to change. If you want to, and it's not just wine. I mean, you got to look at this down the road. It's going to be beer. It may well be spirits. You know, we see stores here called Everything Wine. Well, they went out with a big footprint. We're going to see stores twice that size selling beer and spirits, and they're going to have little zones in those stores where they're trying these things. They got wineries in there pouring wine. They got brewers in there pouring their beers. They're going to have spirit makers in there pouring their spirits. This industry is in transition. It's changing. So how do you take advantage of that? If we step back, and what we did is, and I just want to correct something. This is not a winery program. This program is about 85% a store program. The wineries, I think, are going to survive one way or the other. If they don't make it in grocery stores, they'll go back and beg the government to do even more, and more, and more. And they have the government's ear. I mean, I think we need to be frank about that. And they have the government's ear because they're a core industry. You go into Penticton, you go into Oliver or Soyuz, those wineries are the center of the economic hub. They're spinning off the tourist industry, they're spinning off the supply industry, the construction industry. They're a driver. It's romantic. It's good. You know, it's not LNG. It's not offshore drilling. It's the romantic wine business. So everyone wants to climb on that freight train. So why do we take advantage of it? This is a store program. We went about, when we started this, and we said, let's pick 70 or 80 stores. And let's choose the stores that we believe are going to be early adapters. The guys who really want to change the way they sell their products. What they want to do is get more people in their store, build a community with those people so that they keep coming back. You know, the real thing is going to be when you see far more couples in your store than singles. That's when you know you've broken through into a community. Let's pick those 70 or 80 stores. Let's develop something where we can retail BC wine differently. And it's got to be different in the way, much like some of the Vancouver-based VQA stores, not really built a community, but let's make it expandable. So what I mean by expandable is, let's not just stop at wine. Let's think beer, let's think spirits, and you know, if you let it go as far as it can go, let's even go beyond that. How do we start bringing in other people to be part of this? Because if you take 80 stores, and I don't know the retailing side, so I don't know what your average gross sales are, and I'm not asking you to tell me that. But I have heard some incredible numbers. So if you've got 70 stores, and they, you know, let's take 100 stores just to make the math simple. If between those 100 stores, they had an average of $5 million in annual gross sales. Together, as a cooperative effort, that's a $500 million monster. You know, and there's power in that size. And what you've got to do is use that power. How do you use that power? Because as individuals, you'll make a small dent. You know, you will be able to change what you do in an individual store. But if you work cooperatively, and we start adding into that wineries and craft brewers and distillers, and you know, to some extent, even the regular brewers, because they've got big checkbooks, we can make that very powerful thing. That's just the sort of, you know, artsy-fartsy part of what we're really going to try and do here. But this program, you have to come at it from the point of view, this program is aimed for the stores. Wineries will be the first ones that will participate. So we came up with this left coast, right choice, because ultimately it's about the consumer. It's not about the wine. It's not about the beer. It's not about the spirit. It's about the consumer. And you need to connect with them. And you're really telling them, you've made the right choice in coming to this store. You've made the right choice in talking to me. You've made the right choice in buying this product. You are a very special person. So that's the umbrella. And I call it an umbrella. We want to make it a brand. But we can slot everything under that. We can slot wine. We can slot beer. Whether it's craft or it's not craft. We can slot spirits. We can slot loyalty programs underneath that. We just need something we can all rally behind without disturbing your individual brands. So we don't want to change Liquor Plus, or we don't want to change Metro, or we don't want to change any of the others. But we want them to have something in the store that transcends that little group.